Welcome back, everybody, to Somebody's Heroes. We are in a brand new season. This is the very first vignette of the new season. Welcome to Season 2. I'm Eric. I'm the Dungeon Master for the Raven Court. And I look forward to seeing what you all think of the others that we have coming out as well. We are back with Justin. Justin, go ahead and introduce yourself and your character a little bit.
Hey guys, how's it going? I am GM Justin, and I am playing the lovable, adorable, the one you know as the master of all things that are edible here within the land of somebody's heroes, Link, also known as Mystery Link. Well, it's actually Mystery Link, but he's known as Link. And both he and I use he/him pronouns. Link was brought here against his will. However, he stayed because out of every place he's been to so far, this one has probably the best food he's had.
You know, that says something about the material plane. If the multiverse says this is the good food. Like, if the material plane has the good food of the multiverse, there's some talented cooks. 10,000 years ago, Link. The camera pans down over the plane of Gehenna and the tower of the Arcanoloths that nestles inside of this giant caldera, with just a couple of air bridges that get across to it at various points. And the camera pans in and down through a balcony, through a window, into what in the future is your office. But at the moment now, there is a silver, white, and occasionally you still see flecks of black and brown in his fur Arcanoloth with a snout that's long as long as it needs to be, probably about 1.5 feet out, with these magnifying spectacles that he picks up and drops as he's trying to read this book. And he's wearing red, black, and gold over top in his robes, with several long tassels around his neck, denoting his rank and stature. What would we see Link doing in this office 10,000 years ago while talking to his master?
You would see as Link is at his is at a little desk that he's popped up as he is studying the laws of which that the Arcanoloth Society abide by when it comes to doing any sort of deals. One of the things that Link is aware of is that his master is one of the top, if not the top, deal arbiters in the entire multiverse. And for him to have that distinct honor of being an inheritor of his, someone that will at some point take over for him. Link fucked around when he was growing up and was a slacker, but to be given this honor is one that he's taken super seriously, despite what his peers may have thought him to be. He is incredibly studious at the moment, though he does goof off every so often, because, well, it just wouldn't be Link if he wasn't.
Ah, but he's not Link yet, is he?
No.
As your master catches you goofing off and screwing around, and while reading simultaneously, he says, "Shilosh, it would be much better if you were to pay Attention! As he whips his hand over towards you, and you just feel your head forcibly shifted in attention back to your book.
Sorry, Master. I got a little distracted. It happens.
Yes, well, make sure you stay focused. These rules and the way we do things is what makes us us. If it wasn't for these rules, the demons and devils would never trust the Arcanoloths to strike the deals that we do. In fact, I have a deal right here, and he goes over, grabs out of his backpack that's on the ground, and he throws out a deal. This deal right here dates back to my great grandmaster, who was actually the origination of the Vexnara Clan, and this our school of teaching. It is the pact that keeps Asmodeus in the pit and in hell itself.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Do you think we could keep this deal if we weren't paying attention and we were fucking off?
No, we wouldn't, because Lord knows that, if I'm not mistaken, you'll see as he pulls out his little notepad, and Asmodeus has tried millions upon millions of times to renegotiate said deal and also try and steal the contract, all of which have failed every single time. So it is the utmost importance to, and verbatim what you said, Master, ensure that the grimy motherfucker does not get his hands on said contract.
Yes, exactly. The grimy little bastard needs to stay where he is, even though his minions can go to the plane. Those have been renegotiated, and the renegotiations are what allows him to have souls and soul coins, and all of that nonsense has been the renegotiations. However, as of today, he is trapped due to this contract.
And
the good news is he does not know how our contracts work. He studies, he is smart, but he doesn't know what we don't write down, does he?
He also does not read his contracts well, which is ironic if you think about it. Maybe he's just as arrogant, I think, is what some of the book said that there was.
Arrogance. He did not read this contract very well, which is why the renegotiations had to take place.
Yeah.
But he definitely has, and this lecture about the pact that keeps Asmodeus trapped in hell goes on for a lengthy amount of time. When the doors just burst open, nobody is pushing them, nothing. Just this magical whoof, as in walks what looks to be a beautiful serpentine-styled woman with spider silk hair that comes and coils around her shoulders. Purple accents adorn her, earrings come off her face, but she looks like a reptilian. Well, Crankio, darling, we have negotiations that are running afoul. Yes? What do you mean by that? Well, darling, these have to be kept secret, and I've written them down, and I would like to add them to our deal. Renegotiation. Gilosh, pay attention. This is how you master the art of the deal. And they go into actual contract negotiations. She's looking to add several scrolls to his private collection.
I
What's
think
Link doing while this is happening?
I think as he is observing and kind of paying attention and watching as Granquillos has just masterfully going through each section that they're going over. One of the things that does catch his eye is part of this contract is a deal to help prevent the spread of completion. And it gives an example that we see a couple scrolls on down, and it mentions a place that he isn't familiar with, Phyrexia. Completion and Phyrexia are two words that Link has vaguely heard reference to, but it's something that he never really dug into until now. And because he sees them in this contract, his curiosity gets the best of him as he says, "What's Phyrexia?"
Who are you addressing it to?
It's to both of them.
The
It's not to you, but
collective.
yeah, it's just like he sees it and he knows he shouldn't say anything, but this feels like something important
He,
and he wants to
he
kind of know about it.
Crinkio. Crinkiosh looks down at you. His eyes darken. It is a wicked and foul place that has been working the collective Arcanoloth's last nerves. They don't keep their deals. Ever. They're worse than the Fae. And at that word Fae, he just looks at the person who he's making a deal with and points at her and snaps. This is why we write our deals with the Fae. And when he snaps, the illusion in front of you of this serpentine woman gets dropped, and you see a dark a dark and light patchwork gray cloak covering large arms that go down, and the fingers go down towards past the knee. Long, spindly fingers, very spider-like. And up around the collar is this spider silk tuft, and the hair matches the collar of the cloak. And you see what looks like 7, 8 eyes, not in a spider formation, but just 1, 2, 3, 4 long pointy ears. No visible mouth to speak of. Yes, darling, this is exactly why, when the Fae make a written deal, how archaic, it's the only way you can trust us. No lips are moving, no mouth slit, nothing. You just hear the words. She looks back at him. Well, this is why nobody trusts the Arcanoloths, and she attacks him. Immediately, her jaw her bottom of her mouth splits open, revealing pincer-like teeth with multiple teeth within there, as she just attacks, bites, and rips Crankios in half. Blood-soaked, she looks back at you, waves her hand over herself, casts prestidigitation, and disappears.
I think in the shock of it, he's just standing there as like almost like the blood, probably there's blood splattered on him as he just kind of like slowly touches like his fur and everything, and then like looks at it before like truly grasping what happened and goes to check on Granquillos and seeing, knowing full well that that was like a fatal wound. There's a he goes, he's just trying, master, 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 don't die on me.
I'm not dead yet. Give me your hand, boy.
Grabs onto it.
He grabs the bottom of your hand, flips your palm over, takes his own blood, and just draws a sigil. You recognize the sigil. It is the sigil of the House Vexnara. He takes your other hand, puts it over top of your hand, holds both of your hands in his. Now, my boy, you are my pupil. Learn well and never break a deal. As you feel him grow cold in your hands as the light leaves his eyes. And he died on his home plane, and you know what that means. That means he's gone.
I think you see as like he goes and starts crying into his chest, because this was somebody that he revered so well, like so much. This was like a godlike figure for him, only to see him as they were just studying and just kind of get everything prepped up. There was no indication that something like this could potentially even happen, and just the shock of it all is enough to cause him to just start crying and just mourn the loss of somebody he held so high.
And you look as you're crying, you see that the scroll, the signature portion of the scroll, is down where you can like look off to the side and see the name of the person who made this deal. And the name of that person is Noctura. Noctura. And she just has her title as Archhag.
Link would probably commit that to memory and have that being the start of a list for him to take care of at some point. He doesn't realize it at that moment. But that name is the first name on a long list, alongside such names as Elishnor.
That were added much, much later. As the camera pans out and up just a little bit, we're gonna go and follow Noctura for just a second. Noctura shows back up at her hag's house, her hag's hut, and it's looking in a cauldron over you weeping, watching what you saw. Yes. Yes, vengeance is so sweet. He has importance, that one. As long as he chooses the right path, his destiny is great. As she looks off to the side and sees just what looks to be a young elven female sleeping on a cot. One day, you, darling, will need him.